的一个临床的一个经验的一个部分。那到后面的话，就是会针对我们的这个叫 Monaco 的一个 planning 的一些功能的或者是一些 workflow， 甚至到后面我们有一些新的一些针对 Monaco 有一些新的想法的部分的话，我会跟各位做一个介绍的一个部分。那当然在最后的部分来讲的话，有任何的一个问题，可以欢迎你就是在我们的一个聊天室对话框写出来，那我们就可以针对我们的那个对话框内容来对你做一些回复的一个部分。那在这个过程经营之中，各位不要忘记，就是要先把你们的麦克风关成静音的模式，然后以防不会去打扰到我们的讲者在进行这一个演说的一个部分。谢谢各位的一个参与，谢谢。Okay, so let's back to the Roger Song. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I also like to share something very important is that this session will be recorded. So feel free, we will pass the recording to you. So feel free to actually share with your colleagues. And if there's a need for review, feel free to actually take a look at it as well. Okay, so the first session will be me. So I'll move on to my next slide. So today I would like to share a very general overview of our linear accelerator solutions. That's Unity, Versa HD, and also Infinity. My topic will be targeted treatments redefined and how we can actually propose and offer solutions that's actually required for your own clinical needs. So just to have a very general overview of all of the linear accelerators we have in Elekta, we actually have our Infinity, which is basically the flexibility redefined and truly multifunctional linear accelerator. We have our Harmony, which is a high-performance linear that's perfectly balanced without compromise. We have our Versa HD, which is the highest tier premium linear that actually pushes the boundary of stereotactic capabilities. And lastly, we have our Unity that actually gains the advantages of using our state-of-the-art 1.5 Tesla MRRT technology. So I'll start off with Infinity. So basically for Infinity, we actually have our Agility MLC, multi-leaf collimator, that's capable of fast, high-definition delivery. It also has the capability of high dose rate mode, that's flattening filter free. And it also have advanced 4D guidance. And in terms of Elekta solutions that is exclusive, we actually do have the IntelliBeam and SureStart solutions. The IntelliBeam is basically a solution that allows you to deliver your treatments at specific gantry angles and non-equal gantry angles, and we have actually a SureStart that actually can shorten your completion time from 8 weeks to even 2 weeks. And lastly, we also have a Mosaic Plaza environment that actually integrates towards your electronic health records in your current clinic. So by our clinicians, Dr. Carl Ettens actually mentioned that Elekta Infinity actually gives them a competitive edge over other centers in their area. In addition, the ability to treat the highest accuracy with benefit towards our patients tremendously. And as you can see on your right side, you can actually have a wide range of treatments from brain and spine to head and neck to breast to lung to even prostate treatments as well, because it is a fully capable, multifunctional, conventional linear. So why is this so? It's because even in our Elekta Infinity, we actually has targeted treatments using our Monaco as well as Elekta Agility multi-leaf collimator. Our leaf size are actually 5 millimeters, okay, but when it comes to the dynamic jaws, okay, it can actually incrementally change our virtual leaf width from 5 millimeters down to 1 millimeters. And as you can see in this slide right now, it has been changed from 5 millimeters to 3 millimeters. And what actually is defined is basically the edges or basically the contours or the boundaries of your target. And therefore, it allows you to actually treat your target in a stereotactic manner. So not only that it is able to actually treat it symmetrically, it also can be treated as asymmetrically. So therefore, you can see in this example, on the left side, we have actually a 1 millimeter virtual leaf width, and on the right side is actually a 2 millimeters virtual leaf width. This actually allows your targeted area to be recalibrated and to be specific to the areas they want to treat with, and therefore high dose can be delivered with confidence to the area that you prefer. Okay. So the second exclusive solution is that through our Elekta's MLC sequencing with Monaco, okay, the Elekta Agility is able to specify the target areas that's being treated, as compared to other conventional traditional Linacs that are only able to close to a certain extent, and in the end they are unable to spare the doses to the healthy tissue in between target regions. So this is the reason why Elekta's Agility MLCs as well as Monaco sequencing is so powerful and so targeted towards the areas that you actually prefer to treat with. So other traditional Linacs do not support jaw tracking and does not have a dynamic wide jaws, and therefore their jaw speeds and lead speeds are actually much slower, of up to 2.5 centimeters per second. Whereas for Elekta Linacs, we are actually supporting jaw tracking and have a much higher and faster lead speed of 6.5 centimeters per second. And this allows you to sustain your high modulation, especially when you're delivering high dose rates such as FFF. So previously, I also talked about IntelliBeam, and basically this is only exclusively in Elekta. IntelliBeam delivery techniques, okay, where compared with other system requires equidistance control points, meaning that each control point angle is actually equidistance at around 4 degrees or 3 degrees or 2 degrees up to the user. But for Elekta IntelliBeam, we are able to actually have a dynamic control point or dynamic control angle, and therefore it gives you an additional direction to actually plan for higher modulation, combining your power in terms of control and tighter conformity. And therefore, this actually allows you to have higher dose and shorter delivery time as well. And that's very important in the clinics because this actually decreases the machine time that you actually have using. So next is also in Elekta Infinity. Okay, we have superior patient clearance. Okay, the clearance is actually 90 centimeters. Okay, it gives you more comfort, easy to set up, and more treatment flexibility. And if you compare with other systems, okay, which does not have a 90 centimeter system clearance, this actually causes potential for collision and also requires you more machine time for shifts, which actually incurs more inaccuracy as well. As compared to Elekta Infinity of 90 centimeters clearance, it allows you to avoid moving your patient unnecessarily. So to build upon what Elekta Infinity have, the next layer of Linacs is actually Elekta Harmony. And basically, Elekta Harmony is a new Linac that we have actually released to the market. Basically, this allows you to have a perfect balance between productivity as well as precision. So what Elekta Harmony has is basically it allows precision to its core, and its versatility can be actually top-notch. So if we look at the offerings of Elekta Harmony, firstly, we'd like to pride ourselves is that Elekta Harmony is harmonizing the philosophy of the design with a patient-friendly and user-efficient environment for your integrated experience. And I'm actually proud to say that we won the Red Dot Award in Product Design in 2022. So Elekta Harmony has an exclusive solution called the Fast Track in-room experience that allows you to provide controls and information that you need where you need them so that you can actually focus on the patient. So you can see that most of the patient details are actually put into the Elekta's Harmony HUD over here. And basically by using this Fast Track technology, you can actually reduce the patient setup time by 50%, and that's actually very significant for your machine time. It also has an accessory verification with guided follow me workflow, and your automatic accessory verification actually ensures that all of the accessories that are being placed are being verified each time. So you know that all of these solutions are actually required for this particular patient. So based on some of the testimonies that we have by Dr. Vivian Fong in Clermont-Ferrand, France, okay, they actually are an existing Elekta users, and they replace their old Linac with a Harmony Pro, and they are able to beam match this Harmony Pro with the existing Versa HD machine. What happened was that they started to treat this street patient on Harmony Pro, and it actually went from 0 to 70 patients in 1 month of clinical use. And that's actually very impressive because the capability of Elekta Harmony is a high performance Linac. And Elekta Harmony, what they are treating currently right now is 80% of VMAT treatments with 20% of SBRT treatments. And each time slot is only 9 minutes. And that is because of the fast track technology that we have integrated into Elekta Harmony. So this has re-emphasized into our gain in productivity and advanced clinical capabilities by combining new solutions like Elekta Harmony with existing solutions in their clinic, such as Versa HD. And of course, when I talk about Versa HD, this is our highest premium level Linac. That's Versa HD. That's actually highly recommended to push our boundaries towards stereotactic capabilities. So what pride ourselves in Versa HD is that apart from all of the features that I talked about in Elekta Infinity, okay, this builds upon what we actually have. And the next thing that we could actually introduce is definitely the Hexapod robotic cuts with 6 degrees of freedom. This allows you to actually have sub-millimeter positional accuracy so that you can actually treat all of your stereotactic cases such as spine SRS, lung SBRT, brain SRS, or even oligometastatic cases. And therefore, this is why our integration of our 6-degree Hexapod with Versa HD being such a valuable and significant solution. To add on, okay, Versa HD is also capable of response-guided radiotherapy, radiation therapy, and this is actually responding towards the changes in your patient anatomy. And for every single patient, you can actually do a CBCT scan to actually verify the patient's anatomy and compare with the CT as well as the image of the day. And from there, we can actually do a very quick automatic contour deformation to actually deform the contour that what you have with your original CT to what it is like using your CBCT, and basically re-optimize your plan such that we can actually adapt the plan offline according to what your patient anatomy is today. So that therefore we have confidence that we are treating the right target volume as well as sparing the healthy tissues. So lastly, and the most exciting and prime of all is our Elekta's Unity. Therefore, we are combining 2 worlds. That's our radiotherapy world as well as our MR image scanning world, okay, by having one future. And that's what Elekta believes the future of radiotherapy moving forward. So the first thing is that in our Elekta Infinity, okay, we actually do comes with a standardized set of MR protocols, and because of our high field 1.5 Tesla diagnostic level MR magnets, we can actually have diagnostic level MR images being obtained. We can actually even obtain T1, T2, and flare images. And this is when the patient is on couch or even during beam on. So in Astro 2022 this year, we actually released comprehensive motion strategy because this is something that we recognize that will be extremely useful to our lung SBRT patients, we have provided for you the freedom to choose your motion management strategy. Because we understand that some patients aren't able to be held in breath hold. And most of the time when patients aren't able to help in breath hold in conventional Linacs, this will be sent to conventional treatments. But now in Elekta's Unity, okay, now you can have the freedom to choose the treatment technique that you actually prefer, depending on your tumor localization as well as your patient respiratory ability. Okay, we can actually have the free breathing method, okay, that actually judge during the average position of the tumor, and beam is paused if your target moves outside the expected motion. We also can have the free breathing exhale technique, where beam is only enabled during the exhale phase. And also, lastly, we have kept the breath hold technique for patients who are able to have breath hold. Okay, beam is enabled during breath hold. On top of that, we also have these sequences for non-respiratory motion. That's exception gating, meaning that we could actually create a threshold envelope. And in the event for any unexpected motion, okay, beam will be paused to ensure safety if the target is actually moving outside tolerance. And this tolerance can be defined by the clinicians, whether it's 5% or 10% of outside of the volume of the target, okay, then beam will be paused. So therefore, that is actually aligned to our clinical prescriptions. So with these 4 automatic cadence strategies, it's also been enabled by 8 MR sequences for respiratory motion, not just 1. So with all of these capabilities of MR, we can then therefore accelerate ultra hypofractionated fractions. So for example, for this PRISM trial, PRISM, which is the prostate radiotherapy integrated with simultaneous MRI trial, we are able to then bring down conventional treatments of a prostate of 60 gray in 20 fractions over 4 weeks to even 5 fractions over 1 to 2 weeks. So therefore, can even bring down to 5 fractions. And recently, we have also clinical reports that they are even capable to bring prostate fractionations down to 2. And our aim is to therefore bring down our prostate fractionations to even 1 fraction. And patients are able to come in and they will be able to adapt a real time for adapt to shape workflow such that their adapted plan can improve OER sparing and target delivery as well. Okay, so with that, that's a general overview of our Linux as well as our Unity launches. Thank you, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Right now, I'll pass the time to Ray, who will talk about Monaco protons.
Thank you very much for that, Roger. Can you see my screen? Just confirming.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Lovely to kind of virtually meet you all today. I wish I could have a session like this in person, but I'm based in Australia, so with you all in Taiwan, this is probably the best we can get. I'm going to just spend a few minutes going over some of the proton treatment management solutions. And of course, my name is Raymond Dowson, and I'm one of the product managers. So I look after the development of the Monaco product, kind of with a focus on our particle therapy offerings, so proton as well as carbon. Okay, so with proton therapy in Monaco, we aren't particularly new to this space at Elekta. However, the proton functionality is new within Monaco. So just a bit of a quick reminder, Elekta was actually the first commercial treatment planning system to offer proton therapy functionality with Exio back in the early 2000s. That was, the market leader for such a long time. We had many research publications using Exio. We took a brief break from the market as Exio became end of life, but now we've managed to put all of the proton therapy functionality for the modern clinic within Monaco. And I say that it's built for the modern proton therapy clinic because what we have done during development is we collaborated with a lot of industry partners, such as IBA, as well as with a lot of leading clinicians who are treating proton therapy patients every single day. And what we aim to do was really build a software solution that would be appropriate for the modern clinic, but also give them the opportunity to use all these tools that they might not have in their current existing TPS. So I'm not just going to talk about Monaco and Prono and all of our products today. What I really want to do is tell you why Elekta is the perfect treatment management solution for proton therapy or particle therapy. So as you know, software is really what drives the machines. Even with Linux, proton therapy is no different. So even if you've got the best kind of piece of hardware, you still need all of the software really to drive and to maximize the potential of what you have. And that's where we come in. So Elekta, our treatment management solutions, we offer an integrated ecosystem. So we've got Monaco, Prono, as well as Mosaic. It's adaptable, it's workflow driven. So really with an entire software partner for particle therapy sites. And of course, like I mentioned before, it's built through collaboration. So just a little bit of a high level overview of what we offer. So of course, we've got the market leading key proton features, such as LET and robustness solutions. We're ARC ready, and we've got integrated repainting. So some of these, very advanced features, which I'll touch upon in a second. We provide automation and scripting to drive clinical workflows. So users can customize their workflows, or they can use the workflows built into our solutions. We simplify the IBA modeling process. So like I mentioned, we have collaborated with IBA a lot during the development of this treatment planning system. So of course, we provide very simple and comprehensive modeling tools for those pieces of hardware. We've got Prono, which offers remote plan review and comparison. And I'm going to tell you towards the end of this presentation why that's so important for proton therapy sites. And of course, we've got a commitment to research and development. So like I mentioned, Elekta has had a very, very significant role in the particle therapy community for many, many years, over 20 years now. And we're dedicated to this research through not only investigating current applications of our software, but looking forward to what people are going to be doing in 10, 15, 20 years from now, particularly when we talk about flash radiotherapy. So that's something we're devoting a lot of research into at the moment, and we're very excited about the kind of horizons for particle therapy. And then we have training. So we understand that every particle center is very different. So typical radiotherapy centers using Linux aren't all the same, but with particle therapy centers, they're even more unique. So we provide a very customizable support and training package so that we make sure that particle therapy customers can not only maximize their hardware, but they can maximize the software solutions driving that hardware. Okay, so the two products within our solution portfolio I'm going to talk about today are, of course, Monaco, which is our template-based planning system. We've got smart optimization, so some of the optimization features which you know and love through conventional Linux applications, but also we've got some proton-specific smart optimization functionality. We've got advanced robustness tools, and I'll touch upon those a bit later. We've taken our GPU-based Monte Carlo algorithm and we've applied it to protons. So now not only will you have the most accurate plans, but these plans will be created very, very quickly. And then we've got linear energy transfer functionality, which we're the first treatment planning system in the world to have FDA cleared LET tools. And of course, it can be deployed in the same environment as your photons. So there's no real need for a Monaco protons and a Monaco photons. This is an integrated solution. So if a clinic has a proton therapy system, as well as multiple Linux, they can be used on the same piece of software. So in addition to Monaco, we've of course got Prono. So Prono is our remote plan review and comparison tool, which is loved by many, many customers. But with protons, it's very unique because it provides this cloud-based approach for easy access. Often particle therapy sites aren't co-located near their conventional sites that they might be linked to. So this ease of access and portability is really, really fundamental for Prono. It provides TPS agnostic evaluation. So you get streamlined comparative planning workflows. And then being able to manage and evaluate big data to drive clinical impact not only makes sure that the patient always gets the most out of the software, but also you're able to manage your staff's retention of education, and you can quickly upskill some of the dosimetrists or physicists in your team so that everyone is capable of using Monaco to the best of their ability. Okay. So Monaco really has been built on 3 pillars to make sure that we're the ideal software solution partner for your hardware, for your proton hardware. So the first pillar is high quality. So Adding into this pillar, we've really innovated by providing GPU-based Monte Carlo and our advanced robustness tools. So these make sure that the plans you create for your proton patients are the best quality. We're focused on simplicity. So of course, we've got our intelligent automated workflow to guide you through the treatment planning process. So a lot of these tools you'll know and love from the conventional applications, but like I mentioned, we've put a few in that are proton specific to streamline those workflows even more. And then finally, we haven't just thought about the features. We've thought about how Monaco fits into the entire Elekta ecosystem. So we partner with many different treatment vendors. So with our Mosaic oncology information system, where we interface with every single proton vendor. And that's something which we've brought back to Monaco, is we have ambitions to really grow this and make sure that we're collaborating with our clinical industry partners as well as our customers. And there you'll see, the wide range of Elekta tools that we support too. So of course, Linac, Unity, brachytherapy, as well as our Gamma Knife. Okay, so now I'm going to touch on some of the features and why they bring value to proton workflows. So why templates? So if you've ever used Monaco before, you'll be very familiar with templates. But what kind of value do they bring for proton therapy? Well, they remove the intraplanar variability, which simplifies the QA. So therefore, physicists can focus on, their day-to-day tasks rather than rather than the specific QA of each plan. And they allow production of consistent results across a cohort. So often we think of getting the best plan possible, but also it's really important to focus that we need consistent plans as well. With templates, you're able to refine best practices. So this is perfect for the proton therapy patient mix, where protons are often used for rare diseases, which you might only see kind of once a year or once every 2 years. Through being able to capture a lot of what you do in a template, you can save these and refine them so that even when patients with this particular disease only come through once or twice a year, they're still getting the best quality treatment. And then a final bit of why templates for Monaco protons is it allows personalization through standardization. So instead of a planner needing to focus on individual planning parameters or things like that, they can take this focus and worry about individual plan quality because they know through templates they've got the right building blocks. As well, another tool that we really enjoy with photons is using our contouring or our virtual structures option to eliminate efficiency. So this is a typical optimization loop, which you can see here. You create contours, you set up your plan, you optimize and calculate, you evaluate, and then you go back to the contouring phase in order to sculpt those. So with another treatment planning system, you might end up with something like this, with many ring structures, many avoid structures, and really all the structures which you're putting on aren't anatomical organs or targets. They're mainly optimization help structures. With Monaco, we reduce this inefficiency and we eliminate the amount of structures just to what is anatomically required. So you'll see there in the list, they're all organs or targets. And through enabling this functionality, we minimize the amount of actual contouring that's required from a planner. They can focus on creating high-level plans or high-quality plans. Okay, so now through to some of our proton-specific functionality. So we provide real-time robustness. So if you've ever planned with protons before, you'll realize that they mitigate treatment uncertainties very differently to photons. So with photons, it's very common for us to have a CTV target, grow this to a PTV, and that's what we prescribe to. However, with protons, because of all the uncertainties, we need to do something called robust optimization and robust evaluation, where we build this uncertainty. Instead of creating a new contour, we build it into the optimization process itself. And through this, we get more appropriate clinical plans. However, there is a huge time cost when it comes to optimization and evaluation. So with this robustness, other TPS make you optimize a plan, evaluate results, change your IMRT constraints, and then you have to follow this entire loop over and over again. With Monaco, what we provide is real-time feedback. So therefore, all of your robustness scores, which are here, are automatically calculated. There's no need to manually calculate this and feed it back. They're displayed in real time while the optimization is going, so you can make on-the-fly decisions, which take you from a plan which is looking good but not particularly robust to something which is of best clinical quality for the patient. In addition to this, what we've tried to utilize Monaco for is to make the delivery efficiency of particle therapy a lot simplified. So one part of this is a smart optimization and spot placement approach. So through templates and some of the extended functionality, we allow for one-click optimization, so there's no need for repetitive plan setup. This removes any manual editing tasks, and we also have a functionality called dynamic spot placement, which takes you from a target being covered with protons like this to a target being covered with protons like this, where you'll see there's less protons in the middle of the target, where you don't really need a dose gradient, but you've still got the same proton density around the edges of the target because you want that rapid dose fall off. Both of these spot placement models provide the same dosimetry, the same clinical benefit. However, with Monaco, we're able to make the delivery efficiency much greater through removing some of the unnecessary spots required. Another way we've enhanced the delivery is through simplifying repainting. So layer and volumetric repainting are built into Monaco, whereas with other treatment planning systems, you need to run a script in order to enable these. Also with other TPS, when they export their data, they make a repainting treatment go a bit like this. So repainting, for those of you that might not be familiar with it, is when you split up a beam into multiple smaller beams in order to make your treatment delivery a little bit more robust for protons. So another TPS would export 3 separate beams here. So therefore, a user needs to treat beam 1, then they treat beam 2, and then they treat beam 3. However, with Monaco and Mosaic, the Elekta solution, when we export these plans with repainting, we create just the one beam. And through Mosaic, we're able to deliver this so that the user only needs to beam on once. And all of these layers get delivered after each other. So you get the same effect. However, the user saves a lot of time just through the elimination of redundancy in the workflow. So all these functionalities pulled together, like automation through templates, the one-click plan optimization with virtual structures, simplifying the plan evaluation and the robustness, and this streamlined workflow really do provide personalization through standardization. And of course, Monaco Protons support scripting, so you can further automate your current clinical workflow. So I'll just speed up a little bit because I think I'm running out of time here, but I just wanted to mention some of the future tools which are built into Monaco. So we're able to explore the potential of LET. So LET is linear energy transfer, and essentially this is a surrogate that we can use to identify biological damage given to a particular tissue. So we use this in addition to dose to see where we might be breaking some of the DNA strands more than other areas. So with Monaco 6.1, which is already released on the market, we're the first FDA-approved LET evaluation tool. So you could evaluate distributions, including robustness, and therefore build this into your clinical protocols. With the next version of Monaco, what we've allowed is users to optimize this. So once again, we're going to be the first commercial treatment planning system on the market with this functionality. And if you look at any proton papers or research or presentations at conferences, this is the functionality on the tip of everyone's tongue. And we're going to be the first people to bring it to the market. And then finally for Monaco, I just wanted to talk about ARC. So another thing like LET optimization and evaluation, ARC therapy is the next big thing in protons. So what we've done is we've provided static ARC and also dynamic ARC functionality in the next version of Monaco, so that when the hardware is capable of performing ARC treatments, Monaco will have provided the solution so that you will be enabled to do that from the get-go. So why Monaco for protons? So hopefully I've kind of reminded you of some of the reasons, but we have this workflow efficiency to drive clinical plan generation. We reduce treatment time through our software solutions. And with our kind of new horizon functionality, we're bringing the future of particle therapy now. I just want to spend one quick minute talking about Prono. So hopefully some of you might be familiar with Prono, either through using it or the plan challenges which conducted. But essentially it allows you to gain all of the data you need instantly, connect the team in a portable way, and gain insights to all of the data on the platform so you can do things which you've never been able to do before. So why Prono for protons? Well, there are three key problems in the particle therapy world now. Clinicians located across multiple sites or clinics, the patient referral process being complex, as well as unique clinical skill set required for treatment planning. So Prono provides the portability to simplify access to data. You can create modular workflows, which are designed for any clinical need. And of course, with Prono, you can create education benchmarking so that you can build and grow capabilities and make sure that your clinical team have the best skills and best planning knowledge so that they can extend this to all of their patients and create very high quality plans. And here is just a little bit of an anecdote from Scott Penfold, who is one of the leading medical physicists in the region, particularly for protons, where he used Monaco and Prono combined to run a planning challenge for a very, very challenging indication. And what they found was that through Monaco and through Prono, they were able to create very, very high quality plans, but also they were able to simplify the transmission of data over Australia, which of course is a huge country, and we have often a lot of IT issues. So I thought that was a very nice story. And with that, that brings me to the end of the presentation. So thank you very much for giving me some time.
All right, thank you, Ray. So next up, we will have our custom presentation. Roger Lee, could you kindly take over? Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. So，各位先进同仁，大家好。就是我们现在开始，我们就是台湾的 user 的一个经验分享的一个部分。那第一个就是如同我刚刚讲的，第一个的话，我们要分享的是振兴医院来自于那个张瑜山张技术长的一个经验的分享。那再跟各位讲一下，就是我们这是两家的一个分享的经验的一个的那个医院呢，都是用预录的方式，然后来去做一个 presentation 的一个部分。好，那各位有看到的画面的部分，那就请各位来做这个经验分享的一个享用，谢谢。
嗨，大家午安，我是振兴医院放射治疗科的医学物理师张瑜山。今天很荣幸可以来这里分享 Monaco Treatment Planning 在临床使用的经验。那我今天要分享的内容主要分成两部分。第一个部分是在使用 Monaco Treatment Planning 的经验里面看到一些特点。那在第二个部分则是分享的 Monaco 用于临床实际案例的经验。那其实我以前是其他的 Treatment Planning System 的 user。那在10年前呢，来到振兴医院之后呢，是第一次使用 Monaco Treatment Planning System。那当时的版本是 3.0 版。那当然我们知道 Monaco 它最大的优势就是 Monte Carlo based 的这个Treatment Planning System， 它的剂量计算的准确性是很好的。但是在当时使用上会觉得相较于其他的TPS 的话，它是比较落后的。那在 treatment plan quality 上面，在一些稍微复杂一点的计划呢，它的结果就不是很理想。那另外就是说，它要制作 3D 跟 IMRT 或 VMAT plan 的时候，需要在不同的界面上面制作，那其实是不是很方便的。那另外还有很令人困扰的是说，常常我的剂量计算完成之后呢，不知道什么原因，它就会剂量消失了。那不过呢，在5.0 版以后呢，它终于跟上其他人的脚步。我目前呢在使用的这个 treatment plan 的版本是 5.1 版。那在 5.1 版的话，其实它的这个 plan quality 就有很明显的进步。 在一些比较复杂的计划，其实可以做得蛮好的。那再来就是所有的种类的治疗计划都可以在同样的一个界面上面制作跟评估。那另外它还有一个 frozen dose 的这个机制，可以避免掉过去就是剂量会消失的这样的问题。那说到Monaco 呢，其实一开始最大的挑战应该就是在做 optimization 的时候，要怎么下这些 constraint。那在下 constraint 的时候，其实我们平常比较熟悉的 cost function 大概是像这些minimum dose、maximum dose、underdose DVH 或者是overdose DVH。因为这些cost function 的话，其实你可以很明显的在 DVH 上面看到它的作用。举例来说maximum dose 就是最大剂量，那就是很容易可以理解。那 overdose DVH 的话，就是你给它一个剂量限制，让它不要超过多少 % 的体积。那但是呢，在这个 Monaco 的世界里面呢，它的 cost function 有多了非常多的种类。那甚至你看到这些复杂的名字，你也不晓得它到底跟 DBH 的关系是什么。那甚至有一些还说它是这个 biological 的 cost function。那当然了，这些cost function 都有它的这个意义存在。我们在一开始原厂教学的时候，那或者是这个使用手册里面，它其实都有非常详细的对这每一个 cost function 的说明。但是呢，在这些 training 结束之后呢，我们要开始做 plan， 还是一点问号，就是我到底要怎么用它，其实是不太直觉的。那我们在使用上面呢，其实很常会使用这个里面的2个cost function，一个是 serial 一个是 parallel。那它呢，其实我把它当成是比如说 serial 它是温和版的 maximum dose，那 parallel 是比较温和版的 overdose DVH。那为什么这样说呢？因为 maximum dose 的话，我们通常是就是给一个剂量，然后限制它所有的体积不要超过这样的剂量，就是一个点。那在 serial 的话，这个 cost function 呢，它也是关注在这个 high dose region 的地方，但是它不是只限制某一个剂量点，它可能是在这个某一个剂量点的在稍微低一点的地方，它也是会考虑。那只是在某一个你给它的这个剂量点，它给的 weighting 比较大。那在其他的剂量的位置的话，它是相对的 weighting 是比较小一点的。那 parallel 这个 cost function 也是有一样的概念，就是说像我们 overdose DVH 的话，是给一个 dose 跟 volume 的这个限制，那它是一个点的这个概念。那但是 parallel 的话，它就是考虑一个比较宽的一个这个区域，也就是说，在这整条 DVH 上面呢，它会在你给它的一个 reference dose 跟 volume 的这个位置给一个比较大的 weighting， 但是在其他的地方呢，它也是会考虑去把这一条 DVH 把它压下来。那只是在其他的位置的话，它给的 weighting 是比较小一点的。那刚提到就是说，在 Monaco 使用的 cost function 有非常多。实际上，我们真正在做 plan 的时候，我是不会用到所有的这个 cost function。这些就是我严选的这个 cost function。那主要分我会使用在3个部分，一个是使用在 target， 然后另外是organ at risk，再来是用在 external structure 也就是我们平常说的 body。那在 target 部分呢，我会使用 target penalty 跟 quadratic overdose。那 target penalty 的话呢，它就是用来达到比较好的 target coverage。那quadratic overdose 的话呢，它是用来限制这个在 target 里面的高剂量部分，让它不要有太高的剂量。那在这个 organ at risk 里面，使用 parallel 跟 serial。那 parallel 的话，就如同我们刚刚讲的，它是控制一个 wider area on the DBH，它通常会用在 parallel，属于 parallel 的 organ at risk，比如说像parotid gland 或是 lung、liver、kidney 等等。那 serial 的话呢，它是控制在一个 high dose region 部分，那比较常会用在 serial OAR， 像是 brainstem 或 spinal cord。那在这个 organ at risk 里面呢，我也会使用 maximum dose 的 cost function。那 maximum dose 相对来讲就是比较强烈一点，它就是 all or nothing。对，那就是要注意，就是在使用这个 maximum dose 的时候，要注意就是这个剂量跟 target 的相对位置，才不会造成 target 这 coverage 变不好。那在 external structures 上面呢，我们会使用一个 cost function 叫做 conformality。那它的作用就是shape dose tightly around targets， 就是尽量把你的 prescribed dose 往这个 target 推。那同时在这个地方会下一个 maximum dose。那在这里下 maximum dose 的目的是避免这个 hotspot 落在 target 以外的地方。那其实在这个做这个 optimization 的时候，你要做这些 constraint，也就是的设置，其实是需要比较长的时间。那所以当你得到一个很好的结果的时候呢，我们就会把它存成 template。那这样子的话，可以方便下一次我在使用上面比较快速。不过我们也发现呢，虽然这个概念都是一样的，但是如果要达到一个 high quality 的 plan 的话，其实有各种不同的这个下抗宣的方式。那所以其实在我们的 template 里面可以发现呢，这个同样是 VMAT for head and neck， 然后prescribed dose 到5040 centigrade 的话，有各种不同的版本。那也就是我们不同的剂量师跟物理师他们所试出来的最好的结果。那虽然在下抗宣这件事情是比较不直觉的，但是我觉得Monaco 它身为一个Monte Carlo based 的 treatment planning system， 它是在运算上是很有效率的。我们一般如果设定 grid size 在3 mm， 然后statistic uncertainty per calculation 在1% 的情况下呢，它的optimization 加 dose calculation time 通常可以小于10分钟，也就是说在10分钟内通常就会有得到一个结果。那快速得到一个结果的话，可以让我们有更多的时间去调整这个计划，那让它的结果会更好。那另外就是说，它可以同时在一台电脑里面处理3个 treatment planning。那即便同时都在运算，它其实效能也不会太差，所以在 efficiency 表现上是蛮不错的。那另外有提到说它有一个 frozen dose 的功能。那因为我们知道像如果你剂量计算完成之后呢，假设你去改变这个 CTE to ED table 或是 external structure 的范围或是 internal structure 的 electron density， 或是加了 bolus 加了 couch或是MLC 的这个 model 改变， 那你的剂量应该会有所不同。对，那但是这个 frozen dose 它就是让你选择说，你今天剂量计算已经完成了，那就是即便你有做一些改变，但是我想要保留原本的剂量，那我就可以冻结它啊，让它维持原本的样貌。那像这个有这个打绿色勾勾的计划，就是表示医师已经 approved plan。那我可能想要做其他的比较的时候会改变一些参数，但是我不希望它因此改变原本剂量的样貌，所以它这个时候就会把它冰冻起来。好，那再来第二个部分，我们刚提到要分享几个临床的案例。那我今天选的是 NPC lab breath with lymph nodes，还有 hippocampal avoidance whole brain RT。那选择这3种计划是因为它其实在它的 target 跟 organ at risk 的相对关系上面是比较复杂一点，就是难度稍微高一点的治疗计划。那首先是 NPC， 那 NPC 我们通常都是使用这个 whole arc， 那是 one beam two arcs， 就是顺时针转一圈，再逆时针转回来。那在这个参数设定上面呢，因为你如果要2圈的话呢，就是 maximum number of arc 就是设定为2。那有时候其实我们如果遇到比较复杂的计划的话，我们也会考虑把这个 number 改成3个arc。但是其实你的 arc 越多，也未必结果会更好。我们发现大概3个 arc 已经是一个极限了。那 maximum number of control point per arc 的话，我们是根据原厂的设定是给200。那在 calculation property 上面呢，我们的 grid spacing 一般是设0.3公分，那除非是在那个 SBRT 或是 SRT 的这种 case 的话，我们才会让这个 grid spacing 再减少。那 statistics uncertainty 的话是设1% per calculation。那 NPC 在第一阶段照射这个 nasopharynx 加上 bilateral neck 的话，它 prescribed dose 是5040。那在这个 cost function 的话，我们一样是在分为给 a target OAR 跟 external。在 target 部分的话，刚刚提到用 penalty 来控制它的 coverage。我们通常给的 reference dose 是103% 到104% 的 prescribed dose。那在这个利用这个 quadratic overdose 去限制这个 target 的高剂量的部分，我们给的剂量会是107% 到108% 的 prescribed dose。那在2侧的 prostaglandin 的这个 cost function 选择呢，我们会有 parallel 跟 maxima dose 2种。那 parallel 的话，我会限制在3000 centigrade 跟1000 centigrade 的这个位置。那 maxima dose 则是在这个距离 target 一个很近的距离，给一个接近 prescribed dose 的这个剂量限制。那另外在 serial organ 像是brainstem 或是spinal cord， 我们会给一个5 mm 的 safe margin， 然后利用 serial 跟 maxima dose 去下 constraint。那在 external structure 的话，会给这个 conformality 去把剂量逼近这个 target， 那也会下一些maxima dose。去限制在不同位置上面的剂量分布。那通常会给一个就是最大剂量是大约是115% 的 prescribed dose。好，那我们在做这个 head and neck 的治疗计划的时候，通常也会考虑就是这个 larynx 的剂量，需要尽量把它压低。那在这里也是一样， 我有给一个就是比较大范围的 larynx OAR，去限制它的高剂量我们用的是 parallel 跟 maximum dose。那但是呢，我们发现就是，其实如果你要在这个两个 target 比较近的地方呢，让这个70% 的 prescribed dose 把它断开来的话，我使用中间画一个 central bar，然后使用 maximum dose，大概3600到3700的 centigrade 的这个剂量，其实是更有效的，才可以达到这样子的结果。好，那这是最后 NPC 跑出来的 ISO dose。那这是 DVH。那我们看就是在 PTV 的 coverage 上面，5040 centigrade 它可以达到98.67%。那110% 的 dose volume 的是6.3%。那另外这个 Monaco 它会帮你计算homogeneity index 跟 conformity index。它的 conformity index 的话是这个公式。那算出来的结果是1.07跟0.74。那在两边的 particle 在这个阶段，我们的低50% 都是小于1000 centigrade。那这个 spinal cord 跟 brainstem 低 maximum dose 分别是2600跟2800 centigrade。那这两个是这个左右两边的 inner ear 的剂量，D maxima 分别是2400跟2600。OK， 那第二个 case 是提到是left breast with lymph nodes。那我们的病 arrangement 大部分都是用8个病的 IMRT。那这个8个病的 IMRT 呢，我们的角度大致是接近 tangential 的照射，两个最远的角度相差185到190度，那每个病就是相差10到15度。然后，参数的设定呢，我们会设定这个每一个病的 maximum number of control points 是在15、16左右。那如果是比较复杂的 plan， 我们可以把这个control point per beam 提高到可能20，那可能会得到比较好的结果。但相对来讲，这个治疗的时间也会增加，所以有些病人如果是做这个 DIBH 的技术的话，可能就要考虑一下是不是要增加这么多的这个 control point。那在 calculation property 的设定就跟 NPC 是一样的。那我们在这个不同的beam angle 呢，都会转这个10到15度的 collimator。那它的转的方向呢是顺着你的这个 target 跟这个organ at risk 的方向，那让你的 MLC 的运行会比较有效率。那再来是这个cost function。它其实跟刚刚NPC 的这个概念是一样的，就是 target， 然后 organ at risk， 然后 external structure。那不过在这个左边 breast 的这种 case 里面的话，我们在它的left lung 的地方会多下了几个 maximum dose 比较强烈的这个 cost function。那在不同的这个距离 target 不同的距离去下一个不同剂量的限制。那这是ISO dose。那这个最外圈这个是1000 centigrade 的剂量。那不过其实OK 那这是 DBH。那 DBH 的话，我们可以看到它 coverage 是96.27%。 那110% 的 volume 是2.49%，那 HI 跟 CI 分别是1.09跟0.66。那换侧的浪V30 是9.8%，V20 是7.8%，那 V10 其实也蛮低的，在34.27%。那因为是左边的这个breast，那心脏若比较靠近的话，剂量就会比较高一点。那像这 case 的话，它的mean dose 是532。那在 left ventricle 的话，它的 mean dose 是678，那 V10 分别是12.84% 到13.01%，通常的话大概都会超过10%。那所以如果病人允许的话，可以配合的话，我们可以建议他做这个 DIBH 的技术，因为就是相较于 free breath，DIBH 可以把心脏远离你的这个 chest wall， 那让你的这个就是不管是 heart 或是 left ventricle 的剂量都可以很明显的降低。像这种 DIBH case， 大部分的情况下，它的 V10 在 heart 或是那个 left ventricle 都可以小于10%。那最后要分享的是这个 hippocampal avoidance whole brain RT。那它顾名思义就是说，我们要照射的目标除了 whole brain 以外我要扣掉这个 hippocampus 的这个部分让这个保留这个 hippocampus 功能。那这边提到是去扣掉 HAR 就是指 hippocampus 再加5 mm margin。这是根据 RTOG 0933的这个建议。那因为它其实你想象它就是一个很大范围的 whole brain， 然后中间要挖2个洞，它其实不是一个很容易达成的剂量分布。那我们也尝试过了几种 beam arrangement， 第一种就是coplanar， 就是couch 都是0度，然后有3个 arc。那另外2个是 non-coplanar， 那分别在 couch 0度的时候是有避开眼睛的 partial arc， 那还有就是 whole arc， 那在90度的时候再给一个 partial arc。那在下抗圈的时候呢，我们这个prescribed dose 是3000 centigrade。那比较特别的是，我们一般这个 structure 的排序会是 target 优先在最前面，就是优先考虑。但是在做这个 HA whole brain RT 的时候呢，反而是这个 hippocampus 要放在最前面，然后再慢慢的往外面扩张。那我们可以看一下，就是我们在这个 structure 上面有几个，第一个就是这个医师画出来的 hippocampus 是红色部分，那黄色的是就是距离1公分的地方，然后这个桃红色的是距离1.5公分的地方。那我们会分别把它放在这个就是 concern 上面。那虽然我们刚刚提到，就是我要给3000 centigrade 剂量的部分，应该是在这个whole brain， 然后距离 hippocampus 0.5公分的地方。但是呢，我们发现这个就是经验上发现，就是说在距离这个 hippocampus 1.5公分的地方给这个 prescribed dose，比较可以达到好的 coverage，而且就是可以达到这个 hippocampus 所需要的 criteria， 所以我们会给这样子的距离的这些 structure。那有个 trick 就是说，我这个 hippocampus 往外扩1.5公分的这个 structure 呢，我虽然放在这个里面，但是我没有给它 cost function。虽然没有给 cost function，其实它是有作用的。当你把它放在这里的时候呢，就是我在下这个 target 的这个 constraint 的时候呢，它就会考虑在这个位置上面。 那如果你不放这个东西的话呢，那它的结果就不会把这个 prescribed dose 考虑在这个1.5公分的地方，它会往里面退那这是我发现一个现象是这样子的，所以我们会用这样的方式去限制它。那在 ISO dose 的 comparison 这3种这个 bin arrangement 看起来结果都是差不多的。那在 DVH 上面的话，其实也是差不多。那不过像这2个是两边的 optic nerve，那看起来是这个 coplanar 的这个 plan 结果是比较低一点。那就是我们来看数字的话，这个上面的是 RTOG 0933的 criteria， 红色的部分它是一个最理想的值，那蓝色部分是可接受的值，也就是最低标准是这样子。那在3种 bin arrangement 的结果呢 ，number of segment MU都差不多 ，delivery time 也是差不多，在 PTV coverage 上面大概都有90% 以上。那在D2% 就是高剂量的部分的话，它是写说要小于37.5 gray， 那我们大概都在33左右。在 hippocampus 的 sparing 上面呢，Dmax 的最好要小于16 gray， 那我们做出来的结果都是小于16 gray 的。那在这个另外一个指标是 D100% 要最低标准是要小于10 gray， 那我们只有在这个3个 whole arc 的这个 plan 可以达到这个最低标准，那另外2个是稍微有超过的。那其他在两边的 optic nerve 跟 lens 的这个剂量上呢，Dmax dose 都是可以达到这个就是理想的这个 criteria。所以我们可以说就是 Monaco 是可以用来做这个HA whole brain RT， 而且结果是还蛮不错的。好，那今天分享到这里做个总结，就是说第一个就是 Monaco 的确在一开始的时候你要掌握这个constraint或是 cost function 的使用，其实是需要花比较多的时间的。那再来就是就是身为一个Monte Carlo base 的 TPS， 那 Monaco 其实在这个optimization 跟 dose calculation 上面的这个效率其实是很好的。那目前的使用经验呢，在几乎临床上所有的 case 的大部分都可以得到很满意的结果。好，那最后感谢大家的聆听，我今天的报告到这边。那如果有任何指教或是问题，都欢迎来信来跟我联系，谢谢。
好，谢谢于山的分享。那接下来下一个的话是我们分享部立桃园医院林云川林技术长的影片，那请各位再参考一下，谢谢。
好，谢谢大家哦。那我是卫生福利部桃园医院的医学物理师林银串。哦，那接下来的20分钟，我们来跟大家分享一下我们医院在使用 Monaco 的一些临床的个案哦，跟大家分享一下哦。我们医院是在2013年的时候装设了这一台 Monaco Treatment Planning System 哦。2013年到现在的话，也差不多就是10年了哦，差不多有10年了哦。那所以我们在这一个使用 Monaco 上面也算是非常非常的有经验哦，非常的有经验哦。那接下来我们就是跟大家来分享一下我们使用的一些心得哦，使用的一些心得哦。那 那今天的目录的部分的话，我们在第一个部分会跟大家来大概简单的说明一下，我们医院在使用 Monaco 的一个 cost function 部分是怎么去使用的啊。Monaco 的 cost function 其实非常的多种，大概有10个左右哈。那我们怎么设定的？我们稍微简单的让各位分享一下哦。case 的部分，我们 pelvis 我们 pelvis 的时候的地方，我们来看一下我们做 prostate CA 的方式哦。那再往上走，在这一个 abdomen 的部分我们选了这个 liver 的 case 再往上走到 chest 的部分 ，chest 的部分我们选了2种 case， 一个是 esophageal CA， 这是非常长的哦。有时候是会从内科一直到 abdomen 都有，非常的长。那另外就是lung 的部分 ，lung cancer 的部分我们分享的这4种case 那最后我们会有一个简单的一个 conclusion 做一个简单的一个 conclusion。在 cost function Monaco 在 cost function 的部分，它有针对3个部分。第一个部分是 target， 也就是 tumor 的部分。第二个部分是 organ at risk OAR 的部分。第3个是 body， 就是 patient 的部分。也就是你不属于 target， 也不属于 organ 的部分的话，那它就把它全部归类在 body 跟 patient 的部分那 target 的部分，它会有所谓的 target penalty， 然后 target EUD。Choletic overdose 以及 underdose DVH， 那在 organ 的部分，它有 underdose DVH、parallel、serial、choletic overdose、overdose DVH、maximum dose。那在 body 部分有 maximum dose、complementary、choletic overdose 跟 serial 它其实是这是我们医院习惯用的一个分类那红色部分大概是我们医院最常用的，喜欢用在的部位，这是我们医院习惯用的老实说 ，Monaco 它的 cost function 超级无敌复杂那它这个其实不是只有一个参数而已，它进去还有分很多种，包括你的 dose 的剂量 ，dose 的tolerance、dose 的范围、dose 的一个宽度。然后往外延伸的范围百分比，然后有时候还有比重什么的，其实它每一个参数都非常复杂我必须这样讲，原厂我们上次来装设的时候，原厂他们自己也承认说，这其实是非常应该是市面上最复杂的 treatment planning，treatment planning 那可是现在这样讲，就是说。你会发现它其实非常的复杂但是当你去细品味，你花了功夫、花了时间去研读、去熟悉、去熟练的这些的 cost function 以后，你会发现真的很好用，它真的是变化无穷。当我们常常在 plan 的一个病人的时候，有时候常常弄了很久，但是已经走投无路了。走投无路的时候，当你去把这些 cost function 再拿出来的时候，你会发现，好像又发现了一条路出来了这个就是它 cost function 它的一个魅力它的一个魅力。你会发现它真的很复杂，但是当你熟练了这些武器了以后，你会发现它真的给我72般的武艺可以来使用真的非常的好用，我是这么觉得我们来看一下这个 case 实际的 case prostate CA 好这是它的最后的一个 isodose 的 distribution isodose distribution， 然后它有不同的 view 不同的 view。那我们看一下它的一个设定我们怎么设定的那这个病人其实他是CTV 的部分他做78 Gray 7800，然后39次做7800。那 PDV 的部分也是PDV 的部分也是。那我们在target 的部分，我们用 使用了 target penalty 来设定，target penalty 来设定，然后我们用这个 quadratic overdose， 用这个来控制它的 hotspot， 用这个 cost function 来控制它的 hotspot。那在这一位病人的 case 里面，我们最在乎、最 concern 的是他的直肠。这是趴着的，他这个病人是趴着的所以直肠在上面。那我们最 concern 是他的一个直肠，所以我们把return 放到最高位它这个的排列也就是它的一个重要性，所以我们把 return 排列在tumor 的上面，然后我们 return 用 serial 控制，用这个 cost function serial 去控制。然后 Brader 的部分，那蓝色的这个部分是 Brader， 那 Brader 的部分我们就用 parallel，parallel 它就是区段的去压 ，serial 是全部的整个 overall 的整个一起压，那 parallel 就是一段分成不同的剂量，65 gray 压多少，40 gray 压多少，用这样去压的。然后这男性，所以他在这一个 penis 的部分，我们也有设定了一个 penis 的部分去控制这个 penis 的部分。那当然还有左右两边有所谓的 female head female head。然后在除了这些以外，我们讲的这些 return brader penis female head 以外的，全部都称为 patient。那我们 patient 的部分，第一个是用 maximum dose， 那 maximum dose 就是希望这一个最高剂量的范围不要流出来不要流出来。那 quadratic overdose 就是说，当它控制的最高剂量不要流出来的以后，我们在外围的地方限制它大概是几公分1公分、2公分的地方不能够超过多少。不能够超过多少剂量，用这样来控制它的一个轨点，它的一个层次这是我们在设定那个 cost function 的部分。那我们来看，这个是它的 ISO dose 的 distribution 各位可以看到它几乎是贴着return 是贴着 ，Brader 这边也是一样，剂量是贴着跑。那我们直接看它的一个 DBH 的DBH 我们看一下它的一个数据在这蓝色的部分是所谓的 core area under 不够的不够的。那红色的是 over 的超过的我们可以看得到prostate CA 这个 case 是做到78 gray 7800。那你可以看得到它 CTV 的部分，它 under 的部分是 0.9， 那这个的意思就是78 gray 至少有99.1已经达到 99.1 的一个 coverage。那 PDV 的部分78，不足的部分是 4.3， 也就是说它已经达到 95.7 了。PDV 的部分已经78 gray 至少有 95.7 所以这两个都已经达标了。各位可以看到它的 hotspot， 它的 hotspot 部分只有 80.3， 这个是多少？不到 3% 你一个 case 把它治疗到78你把 delivery 的 dose 到7800，结果它的 hotspot 居然不到 3%不到 3%， 这个是非常非常的难非常非常的难。然后 female head 的部分female head 的部分，然后 Brader 跟 return 我们可以看到 Brader 跟 return 它的最高剂量65，不是最高剂量，它在65这个剂量只有7%，这是百分比7%。return 的部分在65的部分只有14，只有14%。那低剂在这个40的部分，40 gray 的部分，它 under 的有84全部 under， 也就是说它40的部分只有16。return 的部分在40，居然也是很低，只有37，这整个都是符合 NCCN guideline 的一个建议所以我会觉得这个 prostate 做出来其实是非常非常的漂亮非常非常的漂亮这个也是它的一个 cost function 的设定，真的整个非常复杂，但是当你能够很熟、很好的应用的时候，你会发现。这个 plan 真的非常不是100%，但是非常，我觉得这个至少有98、99分的一个 plan 的。 好，那我们再看下一个。好，我们看那个 liver 哦，我们第一个有2个哈，我们先看第一个 liver 哈。那你看一下这个 case， 这个 case 最主要是这么一大块的一个 liver 哦，然后这个也是哦，这是黄土色，这是 liver 哦，黄土色这是 liver， 黄土色这是 liver， 然后它 tumor 刚好就在 liver 里面哦，那这个也是哦，这个也是要 target 也要电的哦，那你可以看到这个蓝色的部分是所谓的 duodenal， 就是我们最concern的 duodenal 12指肠，然后这是 kidney 右 kidney 跟左 kidney spinal cord。这个非常非常讨厌，你可以看得到，它的 duodenal 是这样子把它的 tumor 给包起来的，所以你就看到说，这个是我们要照的 tumor， 这个也是要照的 tumor， 然后这个 liver 要避开，然后 duodenal 就这样子把它包在里面，这个 case 真的是不知道怎么处理哦。所以你看一下我们怎么设定哦。那这个当然 duodenal 就是我们的一个最concern，所以我们把它排在最上面，然后target 的部分，然后 kidney 哦，2个 kidney 的部分哦，2个 kidney 的部分，那我们是用这样的一个设定的哦。像 kidney 的部分，我们会用 causatic overdose。那针对 organ 的部分，也可以看到，我们刚刚前面prostate 的部分，我们用了针对 organ， 我们用 serial 跟 parallel 来设定。那另外的话，这个我们是用 quadratic overdose 再加 parallel 的一个设定哦。那 quadratic overdose 是控制 kidney 的最高剂量 ，parallel 是我们针对大概是15 grade 这部分，让它去照射多少，不要超过多少哦。它用这样的一个组合，我们用这样的一个组合来做哦。那在 patient 的部分，在外围，包括这个 kidney、spinal cord 跟 duodenal 以外的范围，我们用了多了，比刚刚又多了一个 overdose 哈。那我们这个等于是阶层的，一层一层的，就是在 tumor 以外，我们用第一层，就是第一个 maximum dose 不要让它流出来，第二个用 QO quadratic overdose 一层一层去把它降下来。哦，一层一层把它降下来，所以我们可以看一下这一个它的一个 DVH 的剂量啊。duodenal 部分就是我们最 concern 的哦。那其他的部分 kidney 的部分哦，15号我们设定不能够超过多少？那因为这个部分这一个 kidney 基本上来讲，那个医师已经有点半放弃状态了。你可以看到它这个kidney 在这里 ，liver 包围着，然后旁边又有duodenal 整个包起来，所以 duodenal 是最重要的。然后 liver 我们是尽量能够压低多少哦，能够保护多少就尽量保护哦。那这个 kidney 是有点半放弃的哦，所以这个 case 其实是有一点困难哦。那能够跑到这样子，我觉得还算 OK， 还算 OK 哦。那这里还有第二个 liver 哦，第二个 liver 你可以看一下，这个也是很讨厌的啊。红色部分这个就是要治疗的部分哦。那这个也是在范围这个上面这个图好像看不太清楚，也是一样 duodenal 在这里 ，duodenal 是这里又是把 tumor 给包起来哦 ，duodenal kidney liver 哦，所以这个也是一个很困难。那duodenal 就这样挤进来哦，刚好挤在这里面，然后你 tumor 这里的一个剂量会变成一个有一点像是一个峡谷哦，峡谷这样子一个方式哦，所以那这是我们设定的，我们设定更多了哈。那有包括 target 的部分，然后 duodenal 的部分。bowel、liver、kidney、spinal cord patient 哦，这整个设定的方式更多了哦，更多了，因为它整个比刚刚又更困难哦，比刚刚又更困难的。然后我们可以看到它的剂量的部分的一个分布哦，这是剂量的一个分布。好，我们接下来看这个 esophageal CA 哈，食道的部分。好。那这可以看得到，从这边你看非常非常的长啊，从 lower neck 这边一直到 abdomen 哦这边非常非常长。那 当然在这整个里面，在整段里面最重要的当然就是浪了哦，浪的部分哦，那这里有两侧的浪，还有 spinal cord 哦，所以我们看到一下我们在设定的一个 cost function 的部分 ，PDV 哦，两个 PDV 它有不同的程度，第一个里面的要做到55 grade， 然后外围的部分要做到50个 grade 这样子，然后浪的部分可以看到我们分成好几层去做哦，有包括先是 quadratic overdose 是控制它的高剂量，然后 parallel 针对25 grade、20 grade 以及5 grade 这样子去分别去一层一层的去把它压进来，然后右浪跟左浪都是一样一层一层的去压进来 ，spinal cord、liver、kidney 哦，这整个就是我们的一个设定，你可以看到它的一个剂量分布哦，整个剂量的分布。还有这个 DVH 的部分，你可以看到它其实是做到5500 55 grade， 其实蛮高的哦，其实蛮高，尤其是这么长做到55 grade， 你可以看到它的 Haspa 是5800哦，然后浪的部分你看它整个这么长，但是它整个可以压得非常非常的一个叫做有一个腰身，整个 sharp。腰身整个压进来的，然后你看它这么长这么高剂量，浪的2000的部分只有17% 跟15%，那5 grade 的部分哦，5 grade 的部分也只有51跟58哦，51跟58哦。那 liver 的部分它还有超过7500，15 grade 还有7530 cc 哦 cc 哦，所以这个的这个食道部分，哦，我觉得还 OK， 还 OK， 整个的非常的一个丢进来，好像说的很漂亮这样子，我觉得还 OK 哦。好，我们最后一个 case 来看一下 lung cancer 哦 ，lung cancer 的部分，我们看一下。这个是 lung cancer 哦，那这个 lung cancer 的部分，它当然最重要就是浪了哦，最重要就是浪。那中间这里有一个食道哦，esophageal 这边包在这里，还有 spinal cord 哦，包在这边 spinal cord。那我们看一下设定哦，那这里它的一个食道很重要，esophageal 这边很重要，所以我们不是很重要，就是很讨厌呐，它这里刚好躲在里面，其实它这个有一点缠在这里面，这边看不到哦，这个食道缠在里面，所以我们把食道是放在最高位的哦，放在最高位，那两侧的左浪跟右浪跟左浪。它这个其实治疗非常的高，它治疗到6500个 grade 哦，67.5 grade 跟66 grade， 其实这治疗的非常非常的高。那同样的，我们浪的部分，我们还是一层一层去压，从66、25、20这样子一层一层压下来 ，spinal cord 跟 body。那我们看一下它的一个 DVH， 它这个其实很高，治疗到6500。哦，治疗到6500，那它的 Haspa 大概是7100，你可以看到它治疗到这么高，可是它的浪的部分2000部分只有10% 跟21%，哦，21% 当然是右边，然后左边只有10%，那甚至于连500都守住了。哦，5个月甚至都守住了，它也只有55跟57，啊，55跟57，所以我觉得这个算是还不错，这个整个的 dose distribution， 我觉得还算蛮不错的哦，还算蛮不错的。好，我们现在来做一个 conclusion， 哦 conclusion， 其实我 conclusion 很简单，就只有一句话而已，哦，就是我会想继续使用 Monaco system 啊，我就只有这个 conclusion， 就只有这一句话，我会想要继续使用 Monaco system 哦。我们知道，我们如果去一家餐厅一个地方，那好不好吃，好不好玩，我们当下会觉得，哎，不错，好吃，好玩。可是会不会再回去？会不会再去玩一次，再去吃一次？再说哦。当你会想要再回去这家餐厅，会想要再去这个地方玩的时候，这代表这个东西真的好，真的好哦。我们最近已经开始我们医院最近已经开始在采购新的直线加速器，那包括这些周边所有的系统全部都在采购。那我在规格表里面就强烈的表达建议说，我很希望能够继续沿用类似像 Monaco System 这样的一个设备。 设备哦。我只有这一句话而已哦，我只有这一句话跟大家分享。我是觉得 Monaco System 是真的还不错，好用。好，好，谢谢大家。这是我今天跟大家分享的一些 case 哦，谢谢大家。
好，那谢谢以上2位的讲者，针对我们的一些临床使用提供了非常宝贵的一些使用的一个经验的部分。那接下来我们就要再进行下面的 session 的部分，那我们就把整个主持的部分再交还给 Roger So Roger this back to you, please. Thank you.
对，谢谢大家。Lawrence, could you kindly help me in sharing Will's video? 谢谢。那接下来我们有 Will Starbuck 来介绍 Monaco Planning Assistant， 这也是先录下来的，所以如果有什么问题，请你们放在 chat 上面，我们能够能够帮你们解答。好 ，Thank you, Lawrence.
Hi everybody, my name is William Starbuck, the Clinical Marketing Manager for Region Asia Pacific. And today I'll be talking about the Monaco Planning Assistant and scripting and automation in your planning workflows. So the Elekta Planning Assistant really builds on Elekta's integrated environment. So what do I mean about integration? So firstly, I mean integration with Mosaic. So within the treatment planning system, Monaco, and within Mosaic, our OAS, we have now built some integration that began with Monaco 5.5.1 and Mosaic 2.83 in allowing you to have quite predictable workflows that travel from the planning system and into the OAS. Also, there's integration with the machine. So through IntelliBeam, we have increased flexibility with the Elekta machine, and I'll explain a little bit about that as we go. We're also building on adaptability. So what do I mean by being adaptable? So Monaco Treatment Planning System leverages templates, and these comprehensive templates include everything that you could possibly need during the planning process and make it very easy to be protocol driven and really quite predictable with your planning processes. We're very workflow driven, which allows you to be very predictable throughout the planning process. For things like voxel layering. Voxel layering eliminates the need for additional contours. And constraint-based optimization allows for quick and easy assessment of plan quality and troubleshooting when a plan doesn't particularly go in the right direction, and allows you to have a very clear way of getting back on track. And then finally, with the Monaco Planning Assistant, what we're doing is we're creating a process where we link all these things together in a predictable, scripted workflow that you can execute through the application. And we'll talk a little bit about how Elekta also has quite a lot of support and education around this as well. So when I talk about the integrated Elekta experience, what that allows you to do between Monaco and Mosaic is significantly reduce the time required for administration and daily planning. So in these two applications, we do have demographic sharing. Now, what does that mean? So that means that you basically have a way of querying each database and making sure that the patient that you have in Monaco is the patient that you have in Mosaic, and being able to make sure that when you export that patient from Monaco, that it will automatically come into Mosaic appropriately. You also have common user authorization across both applications as well, which means that if I'm Will S in the planning system, I'm Will S in Mosaic, and that means that you have a very clear way of having an audit trail of who does what within those applications. We have a patient access log as well, so you can open up Monaco and know exactly who's accessed what patient and what's been done. This exported plan, export and promotion is a real key feature of this release. And essentially that allows you to, with one button click, be able to approve a plan and export it to any of your DICOM nodes. Now this is obviously going to be Mosaic, but obviously it may be Perfraction, it might be XVI, it might be any of your other third-party, like QA checks. So this allows you to, with one button click, be able to do all of that export. It also exports all of your plan notes as well. So if a doctor reviews a particular plan and says plan approved, rectal dose accepted, this will automatically come into Mosaic as well as a plan note. SROs can be managed within Monaco, but your ISA PRO shifts are also managed and exported too. So what that means is that means that if you set up your treatment reference point and move to your ISA center in Monaco, that means that when you set up the patient, on the machine, you can press one button click and it will move to that patient's ISA center through that couch move assist. The importance of segmentation. So this is the integration that I was talking about with the machine through the use of this feature called IntelliBeam. Now, if we think about every other planning system and every other LINAC combination, effectively you have 180 equidistant control points to play with per arc. And if you think about that as 180 chances to actually modulate the beam, 180 ways to shape the beam throughout an arc. And basically it means that if you're unable to achieve that in one arc, then you just have to add another arc in. And it means that you can lead to quite an inefficient delivery. And if you only have that one arc to play with, it can lead to suboptimal sparing of an organ risk. And what we have in the Elekta solution is effectively flexible gantry rotation with your control points that allow up to 240 dynamic control points throughout that arc. Now, this means that you can obviously add on more control points, which adds more flexibility and opportunities to shape the beam, but they can be where it's needed. And so this means that you can have higher modulation, shorter delivery time, but also superior plan quality throughout that arc as well. Voxel layering visualization tools are always very, very important throughout planning. Now, when I've used other planning combinations, effectively you end up in this optimization loop. Now, this optimization loop is effectively you trying things. It's you having no real feedback of how the plan needs to be improved and using your prior experience and expertise to, really work your way through the optimization problem. And also in other planning systems, you have a number of help structures as well, which you use to try and tune the dose. Now, what we do in Monaco planning system is we actually try and provide voxel-based tools to actually reduce this optimization loop. So this allows you to have a clear path to success with your radiotherapy planning. And again, we don't use help structures as well. So we use the voxel layering and the layering order within those constraints to be able to achieve those results. And the whole idea around the voxel tools is essentially allowing you to, really begin planning straight away. Ultimately, there is a QA burden that you have to do, being able to crop away all those structures, making sure that they're all cropped away appropriately. And again, that means you don't have to do it in our planning system. Now, in terms of the optimization loop, I'll talk a little bit later on those particular tools. But effectively, the treatment planning system templates that you can also use within the planning system are very, very powerful. They include all the things that you could possibly need to get planning straight away. So they include things like your treatment units, your algorithm, your energies, your ISIS interposition, but it also has things like your plan parameters, your ISIS, your IMRT constraints, and now in the new versions of Monaco, your dosimetric scorecards. So they really work well together to allow you to really have all the tools available to plan quite quickly from there. It can help remove intra-planner variability in the fact that all of the IMRT constraints, all the beam parameters are already set up for you, so you can start planning straight away. And really can help you produce consistent results across a cohort. And if you combine that with multi-criterial optimization, effectively you can add personalization through that standardization process. And if we just take a quote from one of our pilot sites pioneering Monaco 6, effectively having a template allows you almost all the requirements for planning and can make the process really easy. It removes the need to call multiple items within the system as well. So in terms of the planning assistant later on, which I'll be talking to you about, effectively you can execute a template that does the majority of the tasks rather than leveraging several other things in a particular workflow. Now, those visualization tools are really important, as I was saying before, and allow you to really make informed planning decisions to try and get your plan back on track when they may not have gone very well to start with. They're all very much unique to Elekta's planning system as well. Now, if you look at the one on the left-hand side, cost function occupancy allows you to, at a glance, look at what voxels are being occupied by a particular constraint or where that constraint is going to be working within a patient. This variation tool on the left-hand side in the middle here allows you to see where that particular constraint's working the hardest within a structure. So this allows you to look at your shrink margins or your crops that you're doing with your particular constraints and see if they're appropriate or not and see if you need to change them. This relaxed response, I think, is very, very powerful. This tells you where, if you relax a particular constraint, where the dose is going to go. Now, I know when I was planning in the clinic, I used to get asked all the time to try and adjust plans based off a particular doctor's preference. And rather than do 4 or 5 different planning options for a particular doctor, I could look at where the dose is going to go based off a certain requirement that they asked for and have a discussion with them and say, well, if I adjust this particular constraint, the dose is going to go up in this area. Is this really what you want to do? And the doctor will say, no, I actually like the first one you did. And effectively that means that I don't try. I can have a very clear indication of what the dose is going to do and have that discussion with the radiation oncologist. And this last one, cost function sensitivity, allows you to see what constraints are affecting your target coverage. So with all those tools, you can have a very, very clear path to success with your planning. And I do a lot of plan challenges, and effectively I use all of these, a lot of them in combination to try and get the best plan that I can. So what is the Elekta Planning Assistant? So the Elekta Planning Assistant is effectively an application processing interface. And really, in its simplest form, it's a dictionary. It's a dictionary that Elekta provide that basically gives you a list of actions within Monaco that are linked to a piece of code. Now, all of these pieces of code can be combined together into workflows, which the Elekta Planning Assistant can then execute. So how does it execute that? So effectively, once you've created a list of commands or a list of pieces of code, when they're executed, what it will do is interact with the user interface and do exactly what the user would do. So it will open up a patient. It'll find that particular patient. It'll load the CT structure set. So all of these things are able to be done exactly as a user would do them. And it has access to almost all the functionality within the application, as I was saying before. So if you've done it in Monaco, effectively you'll be able to do it with this planning assistant. We've created this quite nice planning assistant management window. Now, this sits alongside the Monaco application and basically contains all of your workflows. And it's a really nice way of having them all available for you to execute when and if you need. We have an import section, and this import section allows you to import and also share workflows amongst your users and your colleagues. So it's 6 very, very small, simple files usually that are able to be imported in, and you can you know, run those scripts from there. We have this workflow window which has all your workflows there, and they can be selected and executed from there. You can also have a favorite section. Now this list could get quite long depending on how many you have available. So that favorite section allows you to keep all of your favorite workflows at the very top. Access is able to be triaged as well. So depending on your user rights, you could have certain people that can only use approved scripts, and effectively means that only those approved workflows are available to them. Or you could have people that are working on workflow development and workflow validation. Now they could be having access to those unapproved ones that they can use for training and refinement. You execute your scripts or execute your workflows through that run script button there. And we've also created an event log, and that event log really allows you to see where that particular script or workflow gets to, and if you're troubleshooting and you're developing scripts or workflows, it can tell you where that particular one failed. So it's quite a good tool. Here is a video that basically shows you that script management window. So as I said, you can import scripts, so you can add them. As I said, they're a very small set of files. You can approve them. You can create a module for them, so you can set a section of where those particular workflows will live, and a nice little description there. As I said, you can set them up as approved, and it has all those details available to you, and you can create it as a favorite. So again, it's quite a nice, handy little viewer that you can have for all of the scripts that you have available. So how does this work with the current workflow that people are experiencing within the planning system? So if we take the typical planning process, effectively we do this with every plan that we've ever created. So we'll import a data set, and obviously we want to make sure that we have the right clinic, the right CT to ED file, and then we want to load the template. So we load the template, and that allows us to be very, very protocol driven with our planning, and has all of the things available that we were discussing before. We may run stage 1 optimization. We may run multi-criterial to automatically drive down the doses for our organs at risk. And then once we review that particular dosimetric criteria, we may then want to run stage 2 optimization. And within stage 2, we may run it in Pareto, we may run it without multi-criterial or whatever, but basically being able to run that segmentation process. Then once that's done, we'll look to make any sort of adjustments. So we'll review the ISO constraints and ISO effect. We'll make any sort of adjustments using the feedback tools, weights and goals. And then finally export the plan, export the documents, obviously do our plan checks and our final approvals. Now, really, if you look at the list on the left-hand side, there are a lot of features and functions which are already available by the scripting assistant. We can import DICOM images, we can export DICOM images, we can add a new template, import treatment devices, set and extract structure information, calculation properties, sequencing parameters. All of those things are available in terms of plan creation and DICOM settings. We can print reports, we can create QA plans, all of those things are available. And if we take a quote from one of our pilot sites using the scripting assistant, they said that they found that the Elekta scripting process made things really quick because of that templated approach. So it made the coding aspect really simple and easy to manage, and it gave the process a really good place to start from. So by being able to leverage on the scripts with the templates and all of the other integration features that I was talking about before, means that you can create those workflows really quickly and easily. So in summary, what scripting is, or what the planning assistant allows you to do, is it allows you to create a series of commands that are able to be executed automatically, as if a user was able to do it. So each one of those things are able to be done automatically by the planning assistant. And effectively, it allows for improved efficiency. So you can all those automated, all those repetitive tasks that you do all the time, you can actually create a script that is able to be executed by the planning assistant in our and basically free you up to do other things. And it really can create quite a lot of consistency in the workflows. So the types of things that it can do, it can import and export patients for you. It can create and calculate plans. It can generate reports, generate QA plans, and much, much more. And again, if we take one of our pilot sites, currently over 50% of their plans have some form of scripted assistance. And of that 50%, 40% of those are completely automated. There's been a above 50% reduction in planning time, with the average time between planning and RO approval being approximately 24 hours. And the other reason why they're 24 hours is because radiation oncologists go home. Otherwise, it would be a lot more quicker than that. And the planning productivity is increased by over 15%. And it's only getting better. So here's a short video I made that just shows that particular workflow. And what I've done is I've created a variable input window. Now what this is doing is this is going to add flexibility and personalization for your scripts. So ultimately I've got a space where I can enter in a patient name, I can have a drop-down list of templates and B models. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in that particular patient name. I'm now going to run that through. And now it's going to open up Monaco. It's going to find that particular patient. It's going to open up that data set. And then it's going to import a template. And as you can see, I've got that green ribbon on the right-hand side where it shows you that it's running a particular script. It just loaded that template, named it, and now it's going to run through stage 1 optimization. Okay, so it's just running that through now. And once it's done with stage 1, it can review the dosimetric criteria for you. Again, just make sure everything's meeting the objectives you've asked for. And now what I'm doing is just switching off multi-criterial. So I've used multi-criterial in that stage 1 just to try and drive down OAR doses as much as I can. And now I'm running segmentation. Okay, so now it's going to run through that segmentation process. Okay. And again, that segmentation process is quite helpful within Monaco. Again, that SSO process is looking at trying to reduce the segments, reduce monitor units, improve plan quality. And then once it's done, it can review the dosimetric criteria and basically present the result to you. So these are all things that it's able to do and more. It can also do like QA planning for you. So again, just taking a list of QA plans that need to be done. opening up those patients and those plans, and then being able to run those through. So all those things are, I suppose, repetitive tasks that really allow you to have those be done automatically. So you can see it's it'll load the QA plan, it'll assign the phantom, it'll set the calculation properties, and then run that through. Okay. So all this sounds fantastic, and basically being able to do all these automated tasks really means that you can have a greater view of how your planning department runs in terms of their templates, and really have a really good opportunity to look at your workflows and trying to make quality but also like consistency improvements. And having tools for these sorts of things would be really useful. And really, if we take a paper from 2019, the barriers to system usability and widespread adoption, including assessment flexibility and clinical integration and high quality data reporting, is really something that needs to be being addressed, and also allow you to find ways to make improvements. So if only we had a tool that could assist in that, if only we had a tool that could look at quality and efficiency and really allow you to quantitatively review how your planning processes are going with this new scripting assistant. And really that's where Elekta's Prono is really helpful. Now, we won't go into it too much in this presentation, but effectively you can view, analyze, and gain insights into radiotherapy planning data. So it allows you to identify outliers, trends, and drive consistency, navigate from big populations of patient plans to individual patients with a simple mouse click. You can correlate custom metrics with treatment plans, measure outcome and support clinical trials, and drive clinical care decisions in every clinic. Now, what you're able to do when you combine this particular product with the planning assistant, you have a really good way of looking at how effective your templates are. What's your automation coefficient? How are you able to run those plans through and see improvements, and where you need to make tweaks to drive that quality and consistency even higher. There's a number of scorecards that you can look at. You can look at DVH criteria, and you can do quite a lot from that perspective. So in summary, the Elekta Planning Assistant with Monaco 6 really does allow for efficiency with workflow automation. You can you can do all of those mundane tasks that you do all the time: prostate plans, 4-field boxes, QA plans, importing data sets. They can all be done quite easily through this process, allowing you to work on the ones that are really hard. You can also review quality with process control. And then finally, look at those entire workflows and review optimal ways of working and building on the current Elekta workflows that you have. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
OK， 谢谢Lawrence。然后接下来我们现在会有多一个荧幕，也是 Will Starbuck， 他会在介绍Monaco Academy 我们怎么样开始有那个 instructions， 还有怎么样进入我们接下来几段的时间。Thanks, Lawrence. Could you please play, please? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So again, my name's Wim Starbuck, and I'm going to be talking through the Monaco Academy that we're going to be hosting for Taiwan, and really kind of outline the the reasons why we're doing it, the reasons why it's going to be really beneficial to our users. And also it provides a great opportunity for sharing best practice and, you know, really learning how to improve the overall planning skills that we have from in a really fun, interactive environment. So yeah, so what we're having today is we're really having the introduction, and what we're doing is we're introducing you to a few of the members of the team. We're also introducing you to, you know, to new features within our treatment planning system, and also we're introducing this Monaco Academy. And what we're doing is really setting up 3 separate plan challenges that are quite fun over the next couple of months. And the idea is that users are going to be able to download these data sets onto your personal planning system. You're then going to be able to get instructions on how to try and get the maximum amount of points for each one of these cases, and then you'll be given about a month to be able to, you know, refine your practice, to be able to refine the plan that you've got, try and get the best score that you possibly can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the best three plans for each one of these challenges and really present them back to the users. So the idea is that for each plan challenge, we're going to hold one of these events where we're going to have each of the 3 winners present their case and really present how they've gone about things, and really be able to share those with the other users within the country. And the whole idea is that you'll be able to you know, take away some tips and tricks and skills that you've observed through these 3 presentations. You could potentially take back to your clinical practice and improve on some of your clinical patients. There are also prizes associated with all these as well. So not only is it a planned challenge, but it's also a great opportunity for discussion and sharing. You know, no one has access to your score except yourself, and it's a great time for you to be able to go back and, as I said, just refine your practice and try and see, you know, how good a score you can get. And then obviously, you know, discuss that and like collaborate with your colleagues, and then finally, you know, share those successes in the group. So this is all being done through Pronos Systems. So the Pronos Systems website, you can see at the top here, and what that is that's Elekta's online portal for all of our plan challenges and our contouring accuracy programs that we run around the world. So for those who haven't yet signed up, this is a great opportunity for you to sign up to Pronos Systems, the website up the top here, and that gives you access to a host of general plan challenges and contouring accuracy programs for everyone. But what we in the Elekta Asia Pacific region are doing with like collaboration with Chuho is really looking at plan challenge, which is specifically you know, guided towards the install base within Taiwan. So what you'll get access to is you'll be able to get access to this Elekta APAC private page, or this private organization. And within here, what we have is 3 plan challenges that we're going to be running over the next couple of months. And we'll show you how to access those, how to download them, and be able to submit some scores. So this is the page that you'll see when you access that Elekta APAC page. And as you see, we have 3 challenges here. So our first challenge will be the prostate case. So if you click on the prostate button here, you'll then get access to that particular plan challenge. And what you'll see here is you'll see the instructions tab, And what we recommend users to do is work from left to right. So in the instructions tab, you'll see details on how to access the program, some general kind of articles and references about how the plan challenges work, and also how to really get started. You'll also have some documentation here as well. So if you click on that particular link, what you'll be presented with is a set of instructions about how to get a really good score for these challenges as well. So it'll actually detail the scoring criteria. If you click across on the download tab and you click download here, that will actually download the data set that we want you to plan on. So in those two tabs, you really have access to everything that you could possibly need to start planning for this. You'll have the data set, which you'll be able to download in this section here, and you'll have the instructions on the scoring criteria and the dosimetric criteria that we're looking for from here. So once you've done your plan, what you then need to do is obviously upload that and submit it. So all you need to do is you just need to upload your plan file and your dose file. So these can all be done through this upload, review, and submit section up the top here. And what you can do is you can browse to the export location within your Monaco treatment planning system. And again, if you're unfamiliar how to access this particular area, please feel free to reach out to any of the people on this call from Elekta or Chuho, and they'll be able to help you to access those files. But all you need to do is drop the plan file here into this section, and also the dose file into this section here. And then once you've done, then you can submit. Down the bottom here, there's a submit button, and that will actually tally your score. So from here, you can look at your submission. You can see how well you've done. And if you think you can improve and you can do a little bit better, you can do this multiple times. So you can remove the uploads and then, try and plan a little bit better, try and improve your particular score, and then upload a new plan and a new dose file into these sections here. And again, submit your plan, and that'll give you an updated score. So you can keep doing this as many times as you want. And then once you're happy, you can finally submit your plan through here. So that's really how you can get quite timely feedback on how to improve as you go. So as I was saying earlier on, our first plan challenge we're looking at is a prostate case. And really, this is quite a lot of fun, this one. This is really designed to really push your planning capabilities. And yeah, a lot of our users have found this quite a fun case. So as I showed you before, you can download the instructions in the data set through Prono. And here's the data set right here. It's a prostate, and it's got 2 dose levels. So it's got a PTV 68 and a PTV 56, as well as the prostate bed outlined, the rectum and the bladder. So we've got our 3 targets, if you like, and our 2 organs at risk. In terms of the scoring criteria for the targets, we have some like minimum dose volumes we have for each one of our PTVs, and we also have one for our prostate bed. Again, just trying to make sure that we're getting at least 95% coverage and 99% coverage for each one of those volumes. We're also looking to try and get a really good confirmation number. So really this PTV 68, we're trying to get a really tight overall confirmation. And these are really the majority of the points. So trying to keep our targets very well covered is really the majority of the points here. We're trying to keep the maximum dose less than 71.4 as an ideal. So again, trying to keep it really homogeneous within the volume. And again, the structure containing the global max dose to be smack bang within our prostate bed here. And then we have our organs at risk. So really they're all centered around our rectum and our bladder here. We have some threshold doses that we're trying to keep down, 68 and 65 gray and 40 gray, and then 65 and 40 for our bladder. And this particular constraint up the top here is really trying to keep 34 gray from being completely across each one of our slices in our rectum. So a really good way to check this is to put on your 35 gray isodose line and really just make sure that at no point the rectum slice is completely covered by that dose. So we'll talk a little bit about that later when we provide some tips and tricks throughout the plan challenge, but that's where that particular one comes from. We also have some unscored criteria, and again, these aren't necessarily things to worry about, but always things to consider. So things like the number of treatment beams that you use, the number of isocenters, couch angles, and estimated beam on time. So look, we're really not trying to penalize people in this instance, but it's just something that we're interested in collecting data on. So some general planning tips. I guess this whole plan challenge is really designed to free your mind from the clinical protocols that you're probably using in your clinic. So this is supposed to be fun, and really it's supposed to be designed for you to try different things. So things that you may not have necessarily done before. I know we talked to some sites and they say that they haven't even used some of these planning constraints before, and it's not necessarily an issue. It's supposed to really provide a nice safe space for you to try things. So you can look at multiple arcs or multiple beams or multiple couch angles or collimator angles that you may not have necessarily done before to try and improve your plan score. You can try different cost functions and have a look at how they affect your plan quality and try different approaches. So we're not really concerned about QA pass rates here, although it's always a consideration. We're really looking to try and help users to try different things to see how it improves their plan. So please don't worry about plan quality or efficiency here. Again, things to consider is really the structures are containing the global max. So again, layering is going to be quite important. So really thinking about how you're layering all your PTVs is really going to help you. Your confirmation number. So that's really going to be quite a lot of points for this plan challenge. So a good way to be able to look at that is by putting on your 64, 60 isodose line here. And again, just making sure that you're really nice and conformal around that PTV. So that's where you're going to be able to get the most amount of points. That serial slice to the rectum, as I said earlier on, it's really just designed to make sure that you don't have at any point that 34 gray isodose line covering the entire rectum in any slice. So a really good way to check that is either by going through it in the axial plane, again, just checking that off, or looking at in the sagittal view. And don't be afraid to rescale. It could be that you could get extra points just by doing even a slight rescale from your previous score, just to try and get that score a little bit higher. So don't be afraid to do that. And also don't be afraid to have a look at different modalities. So in terms of being able to look at planning with VMAT or planning with IMRT or DMLC, you can get really good scores with this plan challenge. So don't be scared or hesitant to try different approaches. So I'll open the floor for any questions. again, please feel free to put in the chat, or please feel free to reach out via email if you like. Thank you very much for your time.
好，谢谢大家的参与那今天的那个 Monaco workshop 就是到此这里如果有什么问题的话你们现在可以来访问，我们可以来帮你们解答，要不然的话我们就到此这里。Roger Lee， 你还有什么东西的吗？有同学想分享？
没有，就是看各位有什么问题，或者是如果之后有想到问题的话，也可以再跟我们九和的业务代表做接洽，都可以。
对。好。那如果没有的话，谢谢大家的参与。我们有把今天的这个网络这个 webinar 录下来，所以如果你们要这个 webinar 的话，直接加入这个 Teams 的 chat 里面，大约20分钟左右，你就能在这里下载那个 webinar 的 recording 了。好的，那谢谢大家。
好，谢谢大家，谢谢大家参与，谢谢 Roger， 谢谢 Lawrence，Thank you，
好，谢谢，再见，拜拜。
拜拜。
嗯嗯嗯嗯嗯。